Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving straight into the psychology of emotional hunger and trying to solve the absolute mystery of the phantom appetite. You know the feeling, right? You're just standing there, staring blankly into the pantry, scanning the shelves, and you don't even really know what you're looking for. Well, we're going to look closely at the psychology behind that exact moment, using our source texts to unpack exactly why we eat when we do.
So I want to challenge you directly, right out of the gate here. Think about the very last time you grabbed a snack. Like, really picture it in your head. Now, was your body truly physically hungry? Did you actually have that undeniable physical sensation of an empty stomach needing fuel? Or, if we're being completely honest with ourselves here, was something else at play? We so often assume that the urge to eat always comes from a physical deficit, but the psychology we're diving into shows us that this is frequently not the case at all.
And our source material from Investigator 7 anchors this perfectly with this quote. Sometimes we eat because of our feelings, not because our tummy's empty. It's just a beautifully simple sentence, but man, it carries some profound psychological weight. It fundamentally shifts how we view the whole act of eating, right? Moving it from just a purely biological necessity to this really complex psychological behavior.
Section 1. The definition. So, what exactly is emotional eating?
Psychologically speaking, emotional eating is consuming food to cope with feelings rather than to satisfy physical hunger. The distinction there is crystal clear. One is an attempt to manage an internal emotional state, a coping mechanism, and the other is about providing actual biological nourishment to your body. When we emotionally eat, food totally ceases to be fuel. Instead, it becomes an emotional tool.
Because of this behavior is often framed in our sources as seeking feelings food. And I just love that term because it hits the nail on the head regarding our motivation. The primary goal is emotional relief. You aren't trying to fill an empty stomach, you're trying to soothe an unsettled mind. You're eating for comfort, not for hunger. But, to stop this cycle, we have to figure out exactly what feelings are driving us to the fridge in the first place.
Next up, the suspects. Recognizing emotional triggers. Because to truly master our daily habits, we need to identify the specific emotional suspects that completely hijack our appetite.
Our source texts clearly outline the common triggers here: boredom, sadness, anger, and loneliness. And look, it is absolutely crucial to approach this with empathy for ourselves. These are heavy, deeply uncomfortable internal states. When you're feeling totally isolated or you're pacing the room with unresolved anger, your brain desperately wants a distraction. And the easiest, most accessible soothing mechanism is usually sitting right there in the pantry.
But here is the reality check. No matter how loud those emotional alarm bells are ringing in your head, your body is not actually empty. It doesn't require nourishment at that exact moment. The deficit you're feeling? It's 100% psychological, not physical.
The weapon of choice, the illusion of comfort. So when we're confronted by these heavy triggers, what do we actually reach for?
Our sources highlight how these internal emotional states create a really powerful psychological desire for what we collectively call comfort foods. And notice this, when we're stressed or lonely, nobody ever stress eats a bowl of steamed broccoli, right? No way. We crave specific, rich, rewarding items. When your cortisol levels spike from stress or anxiety, your mind actively seeks out a quick dopamine hit from sugars and fats just to counterbalance those negative emotions.
The psychological texts emphasize this heavily, though. These snacks only provide temporary solace. They offer merely an illusion of relief rather than a real, lasting solution to the underlying sadness or anger. Once that snack is gone, your stomach might be overly full, but the loneliness or the boredom, it's still sitting right there waiting for you. It's literally just a temporary Band-Aid on an emotional wound.
The verdict: mood versus health. Ultimately, this all comes down to a final verdict. We basically have to draw a hard line in the sand here. On one side, we have nutritional needs and physical hunger, eating driven by biology, health, and an actually empty stomach. On the exact opposite side, we have emotional triggers and mood. This is the realm of boredom, sadness, and the pursuit of that quick dopamine fix. Guiding ourselves to recognize this stark difference is absolutely the ultimate goal. As our source material concludes, understanding this difference isn't just some interesting psychological fact. It serves as a foundational tool for your daily relationship with nourishment. By actively recognizing how your emotions attempt to dictate your eating habits, you build this incredible wall of self-awareness. You give yourself the power to just pause, identify the suspect, whether it's anger, sadness, or just plain old boredom, and decide how you actually want to respond, rather than just reacting on autopilot.
Which leaves us with this final thought to carry with you. The very next time you find yourself wandering into the kitchen and reaching for a snack, I want you to stop and ask yourself the single powerful question. Are you feeding your body or are you feeding your mood? Take a moment to really check in with yourself. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.